Hello fellow residents of Tamriel, it is the Beeve again. This video I wanted to do real quick as an update to my Templar that I have been working on the PTS. I found something a little bit different with it that's a little bit cool as well, and it really helps with sustain, and it really helps with the damage output as well. The reason I'm redoing this is that I've been looking over this whole tune for a while now, because this radiant oppression hits like a truck, plain and simple, and it also deals up to 20% more damage in proportion to your current magicka. So the higher your magicka is, the even more bonus damage that this does. So I've been trying to figure out ways with this new update to keep magicka up so this thing's hitting as hard as it possibly can, and I'm pretty sure that I have figured this out. Now I'm still running double Bloody Mara, or disastrously Bloody Mara, sorry, with this tune. 39,000 in max magicka, 17,000 in max health, 2502 spell damage, spell critical of 49.7. And on the Maelstrom bar, that stuff's going to be a little bit different. 36,000 magicka, 2502, same spell damage, and a little bit less spell critical. The the thing that I love most about this build is that it's going to be really hard to kill. Because as I went over in the first Templar video, we have this channeled focus right here. And when you call this out, and you're standing in this, look at those resistances, 25,000 and 19,000. And even when you move outside of it, you still have 22,000 and 16,000. But move back inside of it again, back up to 25,000, 19,000. This gives you the ability to stand in some bad situations maybe, and be able to be healed through it. Obviously you don't want to stand in a mechanic, but in certain situations where there's some damage coming out that you need to kind of mitigate for the most part, like Fang Layer hard mode, if when after you kill the dragon it comes back out and it's throwing those skulls at you, standing inside this rune is going to provide you a lot of protection and be able to help you survive and help your healer get you through how much damage that those are pulling out, just as an example. So, 64 points in my magicka, using disastrously Bloody Mara, using the Shadow Mundus Stone for 19% more critical damage done. The inventory here, Maelstrom Lightning Staff with a weapon damage enchantment. It is infused. Sororia, Perfected Sororia Staff. Precise for the extra spell critical, and a shock damage glyph on it. Zon and Spell Strategist. All the armor pieces are Mundus Stone, and the jewelry is all Bloodthirsty with spell damage enchantments on it to get the most spell damage as I possibly can out of this build. This is a very front heavy build, single target build, does a lot of damage to single targets. The rotation wise, skill wise, Unstable Wall, Blazing Spear, Purifying Light, Channeled Focus, Inner Light, Shooting Star. Back bar, Puncturing Sweep, Solar Barrage, Radiant Oppression, Radiant Aura, Inner Light, and Shooting Star again. I removed the Fire Rune off of here, and I threw this Radiant Aura in here. This is when you call this out, everything in a 28 meter radius has minor magic steal applied to it for 24 seconds, restoring 300 magicka every second when damaging it. Plus, while slotted, you get a increase of 10% to your health, stamina, and magicka recoveries as well. Your rune that gives you all of your resistances that I just showed you a minute ago, this also helps you recover 240 magicka every 1 second. So between both of those being out, that's 540 magicka. that is literally like adding almost 1100 recovery, magicka recovery, to your build. The recovery that you see on your build is how much magicka you recover every 2 seconds. So if we're getting back 540 magicka every second with these two things out, that's almost like 1100 recovery. Then on top of that, with your recovery you already have, and using a heavy attack rotation and having your pots increase your magicka recovery, and the 10% you get from the 10% that you will get from the aura as well, it makes for a really good magicka recovery. You keep magicka up a lot. So the rotation is it starts off static, or starts off dynamic, but becomes very static real quick. Like these abilities, when you work them in the way that I work them in, they flow perfectly. You'll see that when we get to it. But I'm doing Unstable Wall, Blazing Spear, Purifying Light. Then I'm when every other rotation, I'm calling out my Channeled Focus. Then Punctured Sweep, Solar Barrage, and actually it's going to be Solar Barrage and then Puncturing Sweep 2 times, a fully charged heavy attack. If it's time to put up the Radiant Aura, we're gonna apply it and then bar swap and start over. So it sounds a little sounds a little dynamic, but it becomes really static once you get into it. So let me show you this real quick. Like it's really cool. All right, so applying Major Breach, so I get numbers very similar to if I was in a dungeon with a tank. I'm going to call out my 2 abilities right there, and then I'm going to start. Fully charged heavy attack, and start over. Now right here I'm going to put on my rune. Fully charged heavy attack, and reapply my aura, bar swap, and start over. So every other rotation, you'll be putting those down. I should have called that out sooner. Execute phase, I'm going to go for my Jesus Beam here. And you'll see this thing hitting like a truck. Look at that. Look at that. Alright, so no magicka sustain issues whatsoever. We used double Bloody Mara, or disastrously Bloody Mara, and we just pulled 44,533 on that 3 million dummy with no issues to sustain whatsoever. That's really good damage. It's awesome. It's, like I said, it starts off a little dynamic and turns pretty static very quickly. Just to show you sustain once again, we're going to go over here on the 6 million dummy. Apply Major Breach to it as well. And we're going to do this again. Call out both my rune and my aura, and then start. Call out my ultimate. Oh, I let the one drop off back there. I wasn't paying attention. There we go. Back up now. Forgetting to call that one out right there may make this rotation a little bit more dynamic than normal. Maybe not. Pull out my ultimate again. Now we're going into execute phase. So we're gonna Jesus beam for the win. That thing's hitting like a monster. And there you see 43,793. That one right there, I could have gotten a little bit higher. I'd messed up the rotation a tad little bit, and it cost me a little bit of DPS, but not that much, honestly, less than 1,000. So there you have it. 3 million dummy, 6 million dummy, no sustain issues whatsoever, and magicka stayed up beautifully, and we did over 40k damage. That's a win in my in my opinion. That's a really good build. It's really fun to mess with. You'd be really hard to kill with the extra resistances you get from the one rune and the healing that you're going to get back from your spears. So really cool build right there. If you guys like it, give me a thumbs up on the video, and that's all I got for you guys. Thank you very much. Have a good one.